Being powerless is a most miserable experience, I dare tell you. If given the choice, almost everyone would opt for more rather than less power. The energy of our power sector in this country is dogged by self-inflicted troubles, even with natural endowments of oil, gas, hydro, and solar resources. Experts in the power sector have called on the federal government of Nigeria to prosecute members of the National Union of Electricity Employees for shutting down the national grid for one day. And that was between the 16th and 17th of August. Businesses and other power consumers were thrown into darkness as the industrial action by the electricity workers led to a total shutdown. Now, to think that the whole mess was provoked by a so-called compulsory promotion interview for principal managers on paid entitlement, amongst other things, the question is the action justiciable, Jide?
Oh, it makes no sense. And they did it in a very irresponsible manner. You are sabotaging your country, you are shutting down the grid, and you even filmed yourself doing it. I mean, it just shows that some of our people have lost it completely. The Trade Dispute Essential Services Act and the Trade Dispute Act prohibits people in that category even going on strike. How will it look like for us to wake up one day and hear that the police are on strike? Is that something that any rational being wants to see? Or that our soldiers are on strike? You understand?
A demanding, shall we say, operation is going on, and then the light goes off.
We are not. This one is not even something spontaneous. They threatened they were going to do it. They went ahead, did it, and plunged businesses into darkness. Can anyone quantify the losses that we have incurred? Some of these guys are even contract staff. People who had worked in the defunct NEPA or PACN.
Yeah.
Because of their know-how, they decided to reabsorb them. And you want to be given the treatment of the regular workers. Now, even if you are a pensionable staff, those category of workers are not even supposed to go on strike. That is the thing. That's what we are saying. And our country must not, the leadership of our country must not yield totally to
some of these things.
The blackmail by some categories of workers. I mean, how do you describe what they have done? Their quarrel is with the head of service.
Yeah.
And you went this far? It's because we do not punish people when they misbehave on a big scale like this. We recall when some people tried to did something like this during the IBB years. They were jailed.
It's an act of sabotage.
It is. That's what it is. It is. You sabotage your country economically. Power supply is even integral to continuation of healthcare services. So you can imagine if somebody was on life support, they weren't expecting that this you switch this thing up and you switch. You've cost us a life. So I just hope that it will never happen again.
Even some jobs they say are more equal than others. It's like saying the TVC is going on strike, or FRCN going on strike. Now, NEPA. Gigi just talked about punishing bad behavior. We hardly punish bad behavior. And so these things are likely to come up. Now, look at the grounds. You talk about the promotion exercise for some of the, I don't know.
As a matter of fact, the reasons given were not cogent enough to warrant such an action. And more so, for me, we were literally held under siege. Because, we already are very apprehensive of our lives. We are afraid. There is so much insecurity. Then suddenly there is power outage. It's not, you know, sometimes when there's no power supply in your area, at least in some other areas there will be power supply. But in this particular case, it was a complete shutdown.
You know, in my house, I remember Mrs. Hussein talking about getting petrol. Sure, you know, say
Yes.
the darkness is, come on.
I totally agree with BKO. There has to be a form of deterrent, because if this is not dealt with adequately, some other agencies might come up with something like this, and it will continue like that. So there has to be a commensurate punishment, irrespective of the fact that they had whatever reason they had.